everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna do a speed build for you guys, and this is one I've been looking so much forward to. It is a Harry Potter themed speed build, and as you probably could tell by the thumbnail and the headline of this one is that it's gonna be Privet Drive. You can probably tell, since it's Harry Potter, you can probably tell that it was going to be that from what you already see here. And yeah, so if you know me, you know that I am slightly over average interested in Harry Potter, and slightly. This is actually a build that I've done before as well. This is a rebuild pretty much. So the one that is available at the gallery of my Sims called Livrandi is probably, yeah, you know what, I'll put up this one too, but there is an older version too that I made a while back. I did not look at that before I did this one. So this one is my new interpretation of the house. As you can see, I had a little bit of a struggle with the gates to the garage because they're supposed to be solid, but there was nothing fitting. And yeah, don't worry, I'll put the rest of the houses back. I just figured out that it would be better to like build one and fully furnish it, and like with all the furniture and all the rooms, and then I'll just copy the rooms over. You'll see that later on in the video. So you'll see that there's reasoning to the craziness, I promise. And yes, I have looked at multiple photos to try and make this as realistic as I can. I have seen a few photos afterwards that has shown me that I missed something or I placed something slightly off. Especially Harry's room it's quite off. But like the main features are there, so just cut me slightly slack, okay? It's not easy to make everything work in The Sims. Like you'll see later on in the video, like the kitchen's a nightmare because it's not properly dimensioned. And you can see that like just finding the right curtains is not easy. And don't worry, those flowers will not stay at the floor. They're just for me to be able to see what I'm actually doing, okay? I actually end up changing the colors of the living areas simply because it looked very red at one of the photos that I looked at first, and then after having a look at multiple other pictures, it looked more like beige, so it will be more beige. And the new expansion that gives us the glass roof came perfectly in order here, so this is definitely not at the old build, because at that time there was no such thing as glass roofs. And yeah, there's a little, there's a slight longer forward area where the bench outside there is, but it's not like a complete tile in The Sims, so I just removed it because it looked very, very bad. So it's the tiny things you have to do to like make Sims work around the movies, I think. Also, the garden is not like the main priority, but like the patio outside I used quite a while on just to make it look fairly realistic. This is obviously from the movie where Aunt Marge is blown up to like this huge balloon. So yeah, I am not sure if it changed over the years. So I don't know that. That might also be the reason why I put red first. Maybe they have changed the colors. I'm not that big of a fan that I know like if the Dursleys would have like remodeled their home. I wouldn't know. I'm sorry. But yeah, so one of the things that I learned about the Dursleys when doing this is they have so much stuff. Like, just the amount of porcelain that is in that house, it is insane. And like in The Sims, there's not that much porcelain options, or there is, but they're not very pretty, and so I kind of had to place other stuff where it would have been. And also I've seen those shelves that I put up with the trophies, and those apples are supposed to be photos of Dudley, of course, if you didn't know. But yeah, they were there in one of the photos that I saw, and in another one when Harry comes in with this Dobby floating dessert that crashes down the head on this lady. Then there's just a tiny side table there and not the shelves. So again, I think that's like something that has changed throughout the videos. I also noticed that the windows had like 3 sections at those 2 windows that are there, but I just didn't like the way that came out, so I just like, okay, bun this. It looks more like the movie if I don't do that. And also, let's just talk 10 seconds about the cupboard under the stairs, because there's no way The Sims is made any reasoning to make cupboards under stairs. That's nice in a way, but like what you saw there, me putting just 1 wall and 1 door in, is like pretty much the most I can make out of that. So we'll just pretend that that is just a cupboard, that Harry doesn't live there, so we have come into, like, I would say we're around the 2nd movie. Most of the footage is from Harry breaking out of his room and from Dobby visiting the room. I've also seen multiple photos of Dobby in Harry's room later that I was like, oh no, there's a shelf in the corner, there's more stuff on the walls. Like, it in this game, it looks a bit dead. Like, even the Dursleys, Mr. and Mrs. Dursley, have a better finished room in The Sims. Like, even those lamps there, that is actually the kind of lamps that were in the room. And again, a whole lot of porcelain. So there's not that much porcelain in the room after I've decorated it, so it's a little bit off, but you get the vibe. Okay, cut it a slack. It's a sort of brown, pink browny kind of room. It's a little bit hard to tell because the photo that I was using is when they wake up and realizing that Harry is escaping from his room. And therefore the photo is from the night. I also think I missed the window placement of the window, but you know. And also, I don't know what happened, but when I was taking the stills, this side table thing that I put up in Harry's room was completely gone. Maybe the game was like, yeah, you didn't nail that at all, so we'll just remove it for you, don't worry. Because that globe on top there was the closest thing I could get to like Hedwig's cage, and I'm really sorry about that because I thought that I had a CC with a bird in a cage, not an owl, but at least a bird. But apparently that is one of the things that has been removed from a game when I've been cleaning out CC, because that's not one of the things that I tend to use when I make houses, like in general. But yeah. And also this window here in the bathroom upstairs. The bathroom upstairs is completely bollocks, by the way, because we don't know how the bathroom upstairs works. I think according to the books there's supposed to be a bathroom downstairs too, but I was like, yeah, bun that. That's not happening. Because obviously there's not that in the movies, and I'm like, yeah, I should really be following the books, but there's no way I can make that happen. So now I thought I was done. This is so embarrassing. Yeah, I thought I was done. Afterwards, I realized that I hadn't done the kitchen. There's multiple other small stuff that I haven't done. And I'm like, yeah, no, you're a noob. So, I also misplaced everything here. And so, yeah, I am fairly happy with the outcome of this. It could have been worse, but it definitely could have been better too. So if you have a better remake of Privet Drive, please share it, because yeah, there's some things that could have been better. So yeah, this is actually me the second day after I'm rewatching my footage, and I'm like, oh shoot, I forgot to like put in kitchen and all of those things. And there's this door in the kitchen, not the one we're seeing right now, but the other one that goes into something that is the garage, presumably. So I'm just made like a tiny cottage there, so that could probably be like a, I don't know, maybe a cupboard for like food storage, or just like the place you put your lawnmower when you don't use it, you know? And yeah, I also didn't, I struggled with that. Again, kitchen and The Sims is very preset, and you kind of have to just make it work. But yeah, I didn't do the flooring at the kitchen, I'm realizing, but you can see past that. If you want to play with this, I actually haven't play tested it, so I'm not completely sure that everything works. Like specifically the Dursleys' bedroom, I think, is like the room that I'm most concerned about the functionality of things. The rest of it I think should be fine. You can, of course, put a bed under the stairs. That would be really hard to reach. But, you know, I'm not gonna do that. I also realized that, like, the Dursleys are supposed to be very technologically phased people. So I put some TVs where I saw TVs at the photos that I found. Like, the photo that I'm looking at right now when I'm building this is a photo of the Dursleys and the two people that came over, the lady that got the dessert in her head and her husband. And it actually showed me so much that I didn't put in already. And I was like, okay, I need to do that. And that's also where I saw the color difference. So yeah. It's just lines really, but I chose to do the more flowery lines because the style of it all seemed more right.